So for those of you who didn't see it, royal author Tom Bower gave a masterclass in how to deal with hysterical ladies yesterday.
I don't think that men can control crazy women.
Well, that's where you're wrong, Dr. Peterson. Tom remained as cool, calm and collected as ever whilst being subjected to a tirade of vacuous word salad at the hands of this howling banshee.
I don't know if I could keep my cool.
Accuse them of rank hypocrisy, because that is precisely what it is. You talk about them making their fortune in Montecito. Arguably, Harry, with good reason. He's had a pretty rough ride in his young life. Meanwhile, you are sitting there in your little establishment position, raking it in.
Calm down, dear.
That's not even sped up. Fake news? What are you going to do about it? Elon owns Twitter now. Checkmate, commies. What's the matter? Can't handle the tweets? Well, get out of the twitching. Plenty of stunning and brave blue checkmarks have already taken a tough stance. Not hanging around for whatever Elon has planned. Bye.
Oh no. Anyway.
Oh, she hasn't closed her account. Well, that you are. It's been fun, Twitter. I'm out. See you on other platforms, peeps. Sorry, this one's just not for me.
Oh no. Anyway.
Her account's still active too. What a surprise. I am shocked and appalled at some of the free speech I've seen on this platform since its acquisition. Hate speech under the veil of free speech is unacceptable. Therefore, I am choosing to stay off Twitter, as it is no longer a safe space for myself, sons, and other people of color.
Oh no. Anyway.
Her account is still active.
Oh my God!
Anyway, let's take a look at my totally not doctored, not edited video of this insane woman attempting to belittle the noble basset hound Tom Bower.
Accuse them of rank hypocrisy, because that is precisely what it is. You talk about them making their fortune in Montecito. Arguably, Harry, with good reason. He's had a pretty rough ride in his young life. Meanwhile, you are sitting there in your little establishment position, raking it in off the back of their arguable misfortune or fortune, depending how you spin the coin. I mean, we all have books to promote. I actually have one next week, as we've mentioned, two of Tom's, Elizabeth and Philip. No, I think it's appalling, what you're doing. I saw you masquerading as an expert in The Sun, pretending you know what's in this book, saying that their titles should be stripped. Arguably, they've brought the royal family to a whole younger audience. That, you know, young people on TikTok talk about Harry and Meghan.
Do you work for the Chinese government?
They care about them. This is a bit of exported British tinsel. Yes, they no longer belong in that family. Yes, they do loads of sun-drenched photographs and they've dropped the royal regalia. So what? They're a different generation from you, Tom. Let them be. Let them be.
Because they're making their money out of lying. That's why. I don't lie in my book.
Oh, never?
Let me finish.
What, on the
Shut up, bitch!
People that you talk to don't lie?
No, they don't lie.
We don't know, Tom, because yours are all off the record.
I don't publish lies, and they deliberately went to the Oprah Winfrey interview and said 17 lies, and that is unforgivable. Because, let me finish. Shut up, bitch! Because they're not trading as an author, they're not trading as someone who's done any work, they're just peddling their titles.
In 3 sentences, he has dropped nukes on that crazy lady.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Do you want to take a look at some more Tom Bower? Yes, obviously.
What, you know, all this speculation of what Harry might or might not do has all been done before by both parents, by King Charles.
Tom Bower, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think the only reason that Harry has been castigated, as you say, over the last 2 years is because of his conduct. He behaved like a traitor.
Is there anything more British than Tom Bower? He's a traitor.
Terribly disloyal to the royal family and dumped on them. Well, of course he was.
He was dumped by the royal family.
Whatsoever. The other point is that Diana's cooperation with Morton was directed only at Prince Charles, as he then was, not against the whole royal family. She was rightly wounded. She never criticised the Queen.
No, exactly. She never tried to bring down the royal family, Nina, and I think that's what Harry is trying to do now. I really am going to be honest about this, Nina. Nina, just let me make this point, and then you can respond. I genuinely now believe that Prince Harry wants to bring down the monarchy.
I agree. He seems very jealous of William, and apparently of William's son, George. He's worried that he's got a limited amount of time before the press turn their attention to George, though he also hates the press. You know, because they murdered his mum because she was going out with an Egyptian. And then they tried to murder his wife because she's mixed race.
My mother was chased to her death while she was in a relationship with someone that wasn't white. And now look what's happened. You want to talk about history repeating itself? They're not going to stop until she dies.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction.
I think that's a completely ludicrous situation. And Harry has never, ever criticised the Queen. He has never criticised the Duke of Edinburgh.
He's criticising
He
her
adores the
work.
Queen. He's never criticised the Queen at all.
He did. He did.
And
he criticised her upbringing of his father. He said quite specifically in the opera interview.
He was only quoting.
Nina, let Tom finish.
Shut up, bitch! He said quite explicitly into opera that he was brought up in a bad way by Charles, but then all Charles was doing was treating him the same way as his mother had treated Charles. And I think he waited for the Queen to die so he could put that whole story into greater context.
Oh, the coward.
Tom Bauer, you believe that actually all of this speculation that the book might have been toned down somewhat could end up to prove to be untrue, because your point is that he's been paid £20 million for this book, and sure, he's donating 1.5 million or whatever it is to charity, but fundamentally, this is a huge money-making mission for him, and for Penguin Random House to make their money from that book, they're going to need his poisoned pen.
Well, absolutely, and in any case, he's not going to row back. And more importantly, will Meghan row back? Because I'm sure she's gone through the script much more carefully than Harry, if he's even bothered to read his own book. But Meghan certainly has.
Hasn't even read his own book. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I was thinking that, what can they say? Like, clearly they have been talking about how they need to take things out of the book and out of the Netflix series that is going to come out. But then how can they even market it if there's nothing that we don't know? And at the same time, they can't really say anything too slanderous because that kind of burns bridges for them. So I'm genuinely... I really want to find out what is in that book, what is in Harry's memoir.
But they can't row back from all the 17 inaccuracies and lies they told to opera. So they can only add to them. And that must mean more and more poison. And in the end, this is their revenge. This is what they've been waiting for. They've got Netflix, they've got the book, they'll have interviews all over the world. They will be the #1 trending couple in the world for several days. And they're going to capitalize on it. And of course, they're going to put poison. The publishers wouldn't allow anything else.
Yeah, what Tom Bauer said there, I think I've made that point myself in a couple of other videos. How long can they keep peddling this? Like, how long can you live off, how long can you dine out on, your mother's death and somebody allegedly saying something about the skin tone of your unborn child without naming that person, saying anything else, adding anything else to it? Eventually this is all just going to run out of steam, surely. Like Tom slyly said there, they'll be the #1 trending couple for a few days. And he's absolutely right. It's like, in 2 years... So there's going to be the Netflix special. There's going to be Netflix special. Well, it is basically a stand-up act, isn't it? But no, there's going to be a Netflix show. There's going to be Harry's memoir. That's all going to happen. And then what? Do they live off this trauma forever? They were only in contact with the royal family for a couple of years, on and off. There wasn't a lot of time for much traumatic stuff to happen. It's like, I don't know. Where do they go from there?
I'd like to point out to Tom, just to go back to a point he made, that how Harry was supposed to be trashing the royal family and criticising the Queen by the way she brought up Charles. He was merely quoting his father, and the reason he was quoting his father was saying he was trying to break the cycle. The Queen, Charles, him, and the way they treated their children.
But it's still a criticism of the Queen.
I'd like to point out to Tom two things. One, for some man who was so keen on facts and desperate to trash Harry, it's Oprah, not opera. And I think you should actually have caught on to that by this art. She's been on television for decades.
Okay.
And the other things I'd like to point out is that you also have a book out about Harry and Meghan called Revenge.
Yes, it's
and,
brilliant.
I love Dan Wooten. Yes, it's brilliant. But the women are talking for too long. No, let Tom speak.
I think you should own up that you are trying to sell your book. So you have a dog in the race.
And a noble dog it is.
It's in your interest to create...
Well, Tom's been on this show talking about his book. I mean, I think his book is absolutely brilliant and is probably... and Tom, you'll probably like me say this, but I think it will probably end up being far more factual than what we're going to read in Spare.
And on that bombshell, I think I'll end the video here. Like, share and subscribe. I can never say that right. Jesus. Like, share and subscribe, please. See you in the next one.